everybody, it's Josh with Talk About Trek, and we are back with our spooky season of our Trek talk here. And we have literally just like 2 minutes ago, finished up reading this very, very worn and beat up copy of Station Rage, which is Star Trek Deep Space Nine number 13, written by the wonderful Diane Carey. At the end of my last video, I had asked suggestions for a good spooky book for October. Who knew of a good scary Star Trek book? And this was recommended to me, and man, it is a very, very good recommendation. Not only is it just a fun Deep Space Nine book, a well-written book, it really does capture, a good bit of the spooky season. In fact, I believe it even says in the book, the word spooky is in here, and I want to say the word Halloween is even in here as well. Also the word shillyshally, and I believe that might be the very first time that I've had the pleasure of reading shillyshally in a book. So, all in all, everything's adding up to be just a fantastic experience. So, again, I was looking for something that was going to, capture the kind of the spooky season. And you can tell right from the cover, right? Look at that. You have this creepy Cardassian skull face on there. And you've got, of course, Cisco and Kira here featured. So that's kind of what you're getting into right there, just from the title. And from the cover here, we have, within the depths of Deep Space Nine lurks a secret from Cardassia's past that could destroy the entire galaxy. Star Trek Deep Space Nine Station Rage. What begins as a sticky political problem soon evolves into a full-scale chaos for Commander Cisco when the tomb of Cardassian soldiers is discovered on Deep Space Nine. While Cisco searches for a diplomatic way to return the soldiers to Cardassia, the bodies begin to pulsate with life, determined to seek revenge on the enemies now occupying the former Cardassian stronghold. But as the soldiers launch their attack to cripple the station, and Cisco struggles to regain control, another old enemy plots to destroy the soldiers at any cost, even if it means destroying Deep Space Nine as well. So, not a too spoilery, back cover there, but again, it's always better to go in blind for these. And you'll excuse me flipping through this while I am chatting with you, because there was a very particular verse in here, which was really reverse section, I should say, which was really, really good. And I'm probably not going to be able to find it, but I'm going to keep flipping while I'm talking, and I'll continually look at you, and then we'll kind of flip some more. It was near towards the end. But anyway, Station Rage, in summary, a really fun, a really good Deep Space Nine book that I really enjoy, and I really had a good time reading, So, but it is also, in addition to that, one of kind of the creepiest and the, maybe almost like the bloodiest and kind of one of the goriest books, the Star Trek books that I've read, And it wasn't done in too horrible of a way. Obviously, it is still just a Star Trek book. It's not getting into that much ultra violence, but man, some very creepy sequences, some very bloody sequences, and also a very good amount of ship battle. Which is always a plus. You always like to have in your Star Trek book, you have a little interesting sequence of some kind of ship battle or something. I'm still searching for that freaking thing. And I'm searching, and I'm searching, and I'm searching. But that's okay. We're going to give up searching, because what we're going to do now, this is something I've done completely different. Before, I've always read this beforehand. This, of course, is the Star Trek Voyages of the Imagination. So this is the book about books. So if you read a Star Trek book, then you can read this book, and you can find out more about the book. So basically, he went and he interviewed the authors, and this is what Diane Carey says about this book. And I'm reading this for the first time here to you. This will be fun. Diane said, I'm always looking for new angles. Greg and I began every book development session with, how should anybody read this book? With Star Trek, that question is even more important. What will be examined, revealed, or taught that is worth knowing about? How do we take our characters, which have to essentially be the same at the end of the book as the beginning, and give them some personal arc? Oh, yeah. I like that. I like that, thinking, yeah, because, I mean, when you're writing with the cast of a TV show, you can't make these grand sweeping changes, you know? After all, we have to provide a dramatic line of change, yet leave the characters intact for the next authors to take over. It's a constant struggle, which I've always taken very seriously. In this book, we decided to examine the past of the actual space station and force the Starfleet characters to deal with the former owners, who awake from a death-like sleep and believe their station has been invaded. Both sides are in the right, which is always a better moral struggle than the simple right versus wrong, which is easy. I always avoid right versus wrong because there's no dramatic question. I always aim for right versus right, the hardest examination of the human or alien condition. Oh man, this is really good. She gave a very detailed answer to this book. I like this. Diane was not happy with the back cover blurb. Oh, interesting. She said, the only writing in a book that's not done by the author is the cover copy and the teaser on the back cover. I wasn't able to stop the back cover from giving away one of the most important dramatic revelations in the book. Do you see? Do you see? This is why I don't read those. Right from the author's mouth. Right there. There you have it. Okay. The reanimation of the Cardassian mummies. It's always a struggle to keep the cover copy from trumping the author's best surprises. Often, once we see the printed cover for the first time, it's already too late. Oh, how cool. All right. So I just literally was saying that to you. I'm like, you know, it's better if you don't read the back cover. And then I have the author coming out and backing me up, saying the back cover spoiled something which would have ruined, would have made the story less for the reader. So, very glad that I did not read that. So, man, so, in summary, before I just kind of start ranting about some things in the book, this is a great book. Diane Carey is a fantastic Trek author. And if you're looking for something to pick up during the Halloween season that's, spooky, but also Star Trek, and also very good, this is a definite top choice here on the channel. So pick it up and give it a read. And then if you don't want to know about the story any more than what I've already said, you've already been spoiled too much, honestly, because now you know about the animated Cardassian mummies, right? Anyway, go read the book. But here we're going to hang out and talk about some of the things in the book which really stood out to me. And I swear I am going to find that. I found it. All right, we're going to save that for when we get to it in the story. Notes. I took terrible notes. I took notes on chapter 1. Look at this. Look at this. Full disclosure. Terrible notes. So I'm going to put a bunch of stickers in the rest of that section right there. Hang on. Someone open my door. I don't know, these people are thinking. Okay, stickers. I'm going to put some stickers there, and we'll fill that out. And then I really think on the next one I'm going to do a better job on notes, because it's always nice to have the notes. I look through my books sometimes, and I have these great pages where I have look at this. Word notes like I'm back in freaking junior high trying to pass the test or something, And I think those would be nice. And anyway, look. This whole little book is almost at an end, too, so maybe another 10, 15, 20 books or whatever. I'll have to have a new little notebook. That'll be fun. All right, anyway. So, the notebook means nothing. We'll put that away for tonight. And we'll just talk about the book. Station Rage starts out with Odo and O'Brien crawling through a creepy tunnel. So, already you're getting, claustrophobic stuff. You're getting kind of creepy there, right? So they're crawling through this creepy tunnel, and they are trying to just examine like these kind of unknown sections of the station, right? So they get down there and they get to this door and they're able to read that there's a chamber beyond it. So they open the door and like there's been no air in this chamber for forever. And when they get in there, they are startled to find, I think, like 13 or 10. I don't remember the exact number. A baker's dozen of Cardassian corpses, basically, kind of laying on these platforms in this room, and also not kind of arranged ceremonially, like with their hands or with any items, just kind of laying as if they'd fallen asleep there or something, you know? So they call down Cisco, they call down Dax, and they even call down Garrick to try to kind of sort out what this is and what it could be. And when Garrick comes in, he's of the mind, he's like, you can't tell anyone about this. You got to keep this under wraps. So that's kind of what they decide to do for the time being, until they can like learn a little bit more. However, Garrick sneaks back down there, touches one of the things on the side, and reanimates the Cardassian mummies. And they all start coming back to life. And that's when the story really starts picking up, where you get different perspectives. So you have the perspective of the High Gul, all right? This is the Cardassian leader from 80 years ago, right? And he was put into like a suspended hypersleep or something, and is just waking up now, and he has no idea where or when he is. He was under an impression that he was going to get put to sleep and then woken up like fairly quickly to complete this action that they had to do on this particular planet or whatever, right? So he is confused. He kind of works with his little guys, waking up all of his elites. These are his like 12 loyal elite soldiers. And then once everybody's kind of up and around, you can immediately see kind of like how smart he is, you know, how quickly he can assess the situation. And then he starts sending out his elites to gather information, figure things out. And then through that, he's able to assess, you know, kind of where they're at. And at one point, they do see Garrick out there, and then they bring Garrick to speak with them, and then, you know, through Garrick, they're able to kind of learn more about where they're at and what they're doing. And that's when the High Gul makes the decision that basically he has to retake the station, right? So that's when it kind of turns into... It's a very spooky kind of book, right? So now it's almost like you got this kind of haunted house book, right? Because he's got his guys into the systems, just causing chaos, making turbo lift doors not open so that people are walking into them and busting their noses. You know, they're expecting the door to open right up, right? And they're just, boom, bumping right into it. Systems are going down, gravity's going down, this, that, the other. Just your basic array of chaos, right? And at this point, I think they kind of realize, too, that they've got something more on their hand. And when they go back down, they realize that those Cardassians are gone, and they start putting two and two together. They've got these old they've got something going on, you know, on the station, basically, right? Okie dokie. I love Rutherford. Lower Deck's coming back. What, like 2 weeks? Woo! Anyway. Getting distracted. The station is malfunctioning. They are causing trouble. They try to... Oh, you know what? One thing I did like about this, too, is, you know, Garrick, he's kind of shifty. You don't really know where he lies. The High Gul's grilling him. And Garrick's kind of looking up to him, you know. He's wanting him to retake power, because that'll mean Garrick can go back to Cardassia. You know, this is like his one chance, his one shot. So, but when the High Gul asks Garrick about weaknesses that Cisco might have, like, does he have a son? Garrick is like, no. So, like, you're like, all right, Garrick, okie dokie, you know? So that's good. I did like that a lot. But basically the High Gul sets his sights on Cisco and tries to attack him. Of course, Cisco he's kind of like running all over the station trying to fix this, that, and the other thing. He's got Odo with him, so in that battle, the elites find out about that Odo's a shapeshifter, basically. And also, this is a very well done battle too, because it's like the elites jump Odo and Cisco in the hall, trying to attack and kill them. Right, way down the hall, the High Gul is kind of standing there watching, and like Cisco and him, they lock eyes. Right, it's like, and like he knows and they both know, right, that it's like he's the mastermind, and then the High Gul knows that this is the guy in charge. And it was a very well done little part of that chapter. I really like that. So, but anyway, the I think that actually one of the elites dies there in that battle, because when the second one goes to stab Odo, I mean, obviously just goes right through Odo and right into his buddy. So that guy dies right there. So now they know they have to deal with the Odo. So they set a trap for Odo, where he's got to get this guy out of a turbo lift who's getting electrocuted, and then they shoot him full of like little balls of this radioactive fluid, and Odo can't revert to his liquid form, or this fluid will like coalesce and explode or something, basically turning him into a bomb. So now Odo is effectively out of the picture. He's got to remain in his like human form, and he's running out of energy to do that and to hold that form. So that's how they take him out. And it just goes to show that even though these Cardassians are from 80 years ago, I mean, they were so good that they're still able to do all this, figure all this out, and, shut Odo down, cause all this chaos on the station. And then they realize that I'm missing some things. There is another character in it, which they gave away on the back here. That was the old enemy plotting, and that is Gul Francu. And he was the one that originally locked him up here, the High Gul, right? And he revered him, so instead of just simply killing him, which would have been the smart thing to do, he basically locked him here in suspended animation for forever. Which is kind of a silly decision. Like, if you're going to do this and take over, man, don't leave him there to eventually come back and ruin the plan, which is what happened to him, So anyway, he's aware now. He's noted. He gets like a signal when these things are awakened, when the pedestals are turned on. So he sends these whiteout drones into the sector and effectively shuts down the whole sector around Deep Space Nine for communications, and then comes in there to, his idea is to blow up the station, destroy all the evidence of everything, and just claim that it was some kind of terrible accident or something, right? So you've got this guy coming in now. That's like the big thing coming in. And then on the station, they are still working against each other here. But now they are both kind of fighting for the Defiant. The Defiant is docked there at the station, and now the High Gul knows about it and knows kind of how powerful it can be, wants to get to it. So he's working to get to it, while also Cisco and Kira and them, they're also working to get to it. So here you have kind of the final battle in the hallway, I guess, outside going to get into the Defiant. That's what I'm picturing. And in this battle, they're all fighting like crazy. Cisco's got like 3-4 elites on him, right? And in the middle of that, the High Gul comes up with his knife and stabs him in the heart. Well, maybe not in the heart. He stabs him in the chest, right? And he falls to the ground, seemingly bleeding out, dead, And basically everybody thinks that Cisco is dead. Kira thinks that Cisco is dead, and she I think is taken onto the ship with the High Gul and his crew, and then they get the Defiant and they launch the Defiant. So, but then back on the station, Odo, who is still struggling, gets to Cisco in time, and this is kind of a cool use of Odo's abilities that I'd never really thought about before. But he kind of sticks his arm into the wound and then spreads himself out to like stymie all of the affected areas of the wound, to stop all the bleeding and all of that, until Dr. Bashir can come along and bring Cisco back to life, right? So he does that out on the Defiant. Now you have this interesting kind of change of perspective, where like you literally this guy just stabbed Cisco, right? You hate him. You just stabbed him. But now all of a sudden, as him and Kira are working together on the Defiant to, save the station and also save themselves or whatever, you start to like respect this guy. It's this very kind of strange turnaround that happens, fairly quickly in the book, which honestly I really liked. I thought that was really cool. And all of a sudden, it's not like this monster, the High Gul, and like you see it in this whole different light then at that point. That's how it happened for me at least. But anyway, I'm dragging on too long. We're going to wrap this up fairly quickly here in the end. Our good friend Odo here saved Sisko, stopped the blood from flowing out. Sisko gets woken up. Bashir's like, dude, you need to rest, relax. And he's like, nope, give me your strongest stimulant and beam me over the Defiant. I got some business to take care of, right? So that's what happens. And they beam him over to the engineering section. He takes out one of the guys immediately, fights with another guy, and then in the end, Garrick helps him take out that guy, and then Garrick kind of takes charge of engineering. Sisko rushes up to the bridge of the ship. When this happens, all right, this was so cool, all right? Before her was a ghost of Ben Sisko, drenched in blood, plastered head to foot with dust, hunch-shouldered, gruff, armed and dangerous. Such a death mask. Sisko was furious, ghastly and sunken with purple bruises. His eyes were ringed and white and boiled with anger. Sweat cut shining trailed through a blood-flecked gray plaster of dust on his face and neck, and his soaked uniform was torn in front across one shoulder, revealing a slate blue bandage over half his chest and secured to the bare, corded muscles of his shoulders and upper arm. What a picture of this fucking badass Sisko, right? Oh my god. And also, like, just straight out of like a really good horror movie, Here's like the hero coming in at the end, bloodied and battered, looking, basically like a monster himself, right? Coming in. He comes in, he phasers like the High Gul's like number one dude, right? And he's like, it's over, I've won, And the High Gul knows at that point too, it's over. And at that point, like, he kind of turns and he's like, yep, you've won. And he's like, just kind of gives over command, right, to Sisko. And then Sisko, through his, I didn't even talk about this. I'll leave this out. Sisko had a plan that he set into motion earlier in the book. The plan comes back into action now. He uses it to knock Gul Francu right out of the battle. In the final throes, I guess, of Gul Francu's attempt, he hails them and reveals he has the High Gul's wife, now extremely elderly, here with him on the ship, right? And, this is a really cool part, too. So, like, and he's like, High Gul, beam over, or I'm going to kill your wife. And High Gul's like, why would you leave the decision to me? The decision has always been up to her. She gets to make the decision now. What would you have me do, wife? And she's like, I've had a long enough life. You can do what you need to do. And he's like, boom, phasers. And he blows the bridge or whatever, and he kills them. The guy's like, and he kills her. Well, actually, he shoots the ship, but doesn't kill them. But the guy kills his wife. And then at that point, all of a sudden, we've got three Galaxy-class ships, I think, coming in, and a Klingon bird of prey, I think. And they all come in and kind of save the day right there at the end. Well, the day was already saved. They all come in there in the end and just kind of wrap things up, basically, for Sisko. At the very end, they arrest Gul Francu, and then Sisko sends Kira to send him down to the brig. But then they do a very, very interesting ending here, where it's like, the High Gul is like, well, what can we do? What are you going to do with me? If I get arrested and go to prison, there's going to be half of Cardassia rising up to get me out, and then another half rising up to stop, and it's going to be a war, an endless war. So, in the end, he takes a phaser, and he disintegrates himself, right? And basically turns himself back into a legend, So, such a well done book. Diane Carey is excellent. Station Rage was fantastic, and I recommend that you read it immediately. And if you know another spooky book, please let me know. As always, my friends, live long and prosper, and we'll see you guys in the next one.